I grew up in the great city of Atlanta, Georgia, during this period called the Jim Crow era. One of the first things I noticed about the world was that it was an inherently unfair place. And I remember one time my parents took us to this place called the Fox Theater. We were in the balcony, and I remember looking over and I saw all of the white people down below, and I was puzzled because I couldn't understand how they got in the building. My mother didn't want to tell me that they came in the front door. 1968 was a real critical year in my life. You know, the civil rights movement, and I was feeling hope. Maybe we can create a society where everybody is treated equally. And when Dr. King was assassinated, it was like somebody just sucked the hope from your life. I had this anger inside, and I didn't know what to do with it. And so I was trying to make sense out of all of that. And also, that was the same year that I met my future wife, Cynthia. Pictures, I love this picture here, Cynthia. She looks so young, so vibrant. It's kind of funny. There was one house between us, and so that's how close we live. And I remember when I would go to date her, you know, I would get all dressed up, everything, and then I get in my car, and I bag up 2 houses. It was kind of funny. I knew she was special. She was different, and she lived with her mom, and her mother just loved me. And Cynthia was kind of shy, and she went in the house, and her mother sent her back out there. She said, "Go back out there and meet that young man." That's funny. This is my mom, this is my dad, and that's me. My father and I it was a situation, you know, as long as you live in this household, you got to follow the rules it was that kind of thing. And I came home late in the middle of the night, you know, just coming in like I wanna. My father came upstairs, and I took the beat down. I didn't strike back, didn't shed a single tear, but I just took it. But in that moment, I realized 2 things. Number one, I knew I was never going to take another beat down. And number 2 is I knew it was time for me to make a move. And that very next morning, I went straight down to the induction center, and I signed up with the Army. They gave me 30 days to get my affairs in order and report for duty. A couple of weeks later, my girl Cynthia informs me that she is pregnant. I reported for duty and everything. The first break I got to come home was the Christmas break. Cynthia and I, we got married the day after Christmas. So that 68, a lot was happening in the country, but a lot was happening in my own life. I'll never forget 68. I was in Vietnam for 12 months, and the work I did, it was a telecommunication, multi-channel. Everybody, they wanted to get to the communication. They wanted to destroy the communication. And you had to keep the equipment on the air. If you were off the air for more than 2 minutes, you could be court-martialed. The 3rd night that I was there, we got attacked. And I was taking a shower, and all of a sudden I heard this loud blast. And I looked out of the shower, and I looked down, and I saw the Jeep was on fire. And then just activity started everywhere. Just you hear an explosion, just the things blowing up, the helicopters start coming in, you could see the shooting traces, rounds. It was like I was watching the whole war from this hilltop. I was like, am I on a dream? Is this a nightmare? What is it? And when daylight came and we went down all around the perimeter and started looking at everything, and that's when I saw all of the body parts, just, and a lot of those kids were young. They were young, and I remember thinking to myself, I said, wow, I hadn't even been in country 2 weeks yet. I said, how am I gonna make 12 months? And there was 2 guys, James and Benny, and they were really good friends, and Benny, everybody loved Benny. He's that guy that, everybody just loved Benny, And one time they came and I saw James. I said, man, where's Benny, man? And Benny didn't make it. He went out on the click and he got blown up by a booby trap. To kind of support ourselves, we would do this thing. And when something like that happened, we just start rocking and we say, hey man, don't mean nothing, man. Ain't nothing but a situation. Don't mean nothing, man. ain't nothing but a situation. We just keep repeating it, and we're like encouraging each other. And you also, wondering about yourself. Hey, when is my time coming? Or if you survive. Okay, like James and Benny, they were like, so James, even though he survived, he suffered. You know what I mean? Like, wow, why did Benny get killed and I didn't? I get to live. Why? Like that. And you just have to deal with that kind of pain, And I don't think it ever really goes away. You can kind of mask it up, you can kind of do other things and all like that, but it's always there. When I returned from Vietnam, I got down and I kissed the ground. But this is the thing, traveling through the airport, people looked at us a certain kind of way. It's almost with indifference or even with hate. A lot had gone on. There was protests against the war. All of that was going on, just all kind of stuff. But that was the world I came back into, and I had to make sense out of all of that. I had gotten a job at a convenience store. There was a radio station across the street, and there was a young lady. Her name was Dory, and so every afternoon she would come across the street to the store, and then we just talked for a little bit, And I got to the point where, I started looking forward to her visit, every afternoon. And one day I had gotten robbed that morning, and I remember during the robbery thinking, wow, if I survived the Vietnam War, what would it be like to come back here and die, in a robbery? That didn't make sense either. And Dory came by that afternoon, and so I mentioned it to her, and then all of a sudden, Dory said, Sam, you need to chant. You need to chant Nam Myo Holding Yekyo. And then she wrote it down on a piece of paper, and she was showing me how to say it. And she said, say it. Her compassion, her gut, everything just came out. And it was so powerful. And I ended up going to several meetings with her now. Everybody seemed to be happy. But then they start talking about world peace through individual happiness. And that's what resonated with me after experiencing combat firsthand. And then it's such a thing as world peace that can really happen. It's a thing, and that was what really made me start looking deeper into it. My wife Cynthia began practicing, because when I first started practicing, she didn't practice. She wasn't against me practicing. She said, if that's what you want to do, cool, but it's not for me. I was chanting every day that one day she and I could be chanting together, do Gongyo together. That was my prayer. And then toward the end of that year, she decided to start practicing. And so I was happy naturally, but at the same time I was curious, and I asked her, what made you decide to start practicing? She says, I see you becoming a better husband, a better father, and a better person. And if chanting can do that for you, I thought perhaps maybe I should try chanting as well. That's what she said. My mother passed away in January of '74. I had the opportunity to see Sensei in New Orleans in March 15. 6 weeks later. So when I met Sensei for the first time, I was still kind of grieving my mom. And Sensei, the whole thing, just to hear him speak, see his warm heart, his compassion, just everything was so needed, so timely for my life right in that moment. And Sensei named this group, Happiness Group. But over the years, I learned that he named us Happiness Group. The meaning was much deeper than my shallow kind of thing. And now I look at it as part of Happiness Group. I have the responsibility, to help everybody become happy, no matter who, what, the circumstance, everything. I'm going to become happy. I'm going to help you too, everybody. My whole thinking is different over the years. It's evolved, So therefore, I'm continuing, to grow and learn about this profound relationship with Sensei. And you can see my pictures on the wall every day when I get ready to do Gongyo. I say, okay, gentlemen, let's go, let's do it, So I just feel that bond and connection with Sensei. One buddy, J.B. Jones, and we were together the whole time. We was assigned to the same unit, the same everything throughout, and we stayed in touch after we got out. He and I, we had the exact same experiences all through. We were together the whole time, each attack, each thing, everything. We both have what they call PTSD, but JB suffered so much harder from PTSD than I did. And of course, I had told him about Namnaringiki over the years. His PTSD was so bad, he couldn't function. He passed a few years ago, and it surprised me that I took his passing so hard, because I took it harder than my own mother. What I felt for him when he died, it was just deep. He was a great buddy, true friend, everything, but he just couldn't handle it. Was too much. And I know I might have been like that too, but I think Namnaringiki, I'm convinced, made all the difference in the world. You know, I can lead a victorious life. I call her my warrior queen because of her spirit, never give up. Cynthia and I was married for 51 and a half years. We overcome so many obstacles together. We raised a family, everything. After Cynthia passed away, I was deciding what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. A few years earlier, one of my grandsons had moved to Puerto Rico. He didn't know Spanish, he didn't have a job. No, he just came. But anyway, when I came down to visit him for the first time, I also fell in love with the island. I loved Puerto Rico. I just felt something. And I said, you know, I was thinking about, you know, maybe moving down this way. And when I said that, his expression, oh, he just lit up, and he said, oh yeah, boy, that would be great. A year later, you know, I was able to move here. I'm living my dream every day. That's what it is. War is no good. Everybody and everything loses. You know, the troops lose. You know, the civilians lose. The loved ones lose. Wildlife lose. Everybody loses in war. Nobody wins. Nobody. And Sensei knows better than anyone. I can definitely connect with Sensei on that level. I understand what he felt about the war, seeing it firsthand, and how strong his passion is. I feel the exact same way. My limited 12-month experience in Vietnam, it gave me what I needed to stand up for peace, fight for peace. Peace is worthy. Peace is the most noble cause. What can we do? Even a small thing, what small difference can you make to help make a better world? You know, I plant seeds every day, man. I get up and live my dream. I go out, who's gonna be the lucky people today? That's how I go. Each one of my servers at a restaurant, the cashier here, my Uber driver, whoever it is, this person right here in front of me. When the time is right, the seed sprouts, it blossoms, and I'm gonna do my part one by one, one by one.